Karma Yoga Shloka, Bhagavad Gita chanting. It's very good to see you after a break. And I think now we should start our session. Mm, okay. So what's today's agenda? We will be looking at a few concepts like what is karma, what are the types of karma, what is karma yoga, and then we will be looking at 6 karma yoga shlokas and we will be doing group practice. Now, before starting with what is karma and karma yoga, I would like to share a beautiful quote by Swami Vivekananda, which he has written in his complete works of Swami Vivekananda. Each soul is potentially divine. The goal is to manifest this divinity within by controlling nature, external and internal. Do this either by work, that is karma yoga, or worship, bhakti yoga, or mental discipline, that is raja yoga, or philosophy, dhyana yoga, by one or more or all of these, and be free. So what he meant is that every human being has got the inner strength, the inner potential to experience divinity. It's very beautiful quote. It's my one of my favorite quotes because it gives us assurance. It's a very powerful quote which makes us first believe in ourselves that yes, I have got that potential. Being a human being, I can experience that divinity, and he has given us the 4 paths: Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Raja Yoga, and Jnana Yoga. So, as per your nature, you choose one of these paths and try to achieve freedom, or which is called as Mukti or liberation. Right. Now, let's understand what is karma. The word karma is derived from Sanskrit root word kri, means any action with intentions and consequences which bind us to prakriti, to this maya, to this materialistic world, and also in the cycle of births and death or rebirths. Shvetashvatara Upanishad says, if you can see in this picture, the wheel of karma, this vast universe is like a wheel. Upon it are all creatures that are subject to birth, death, and rebirth. Round and round it turns and never stops. It is the wheel of Brahman, the universal consciousness. As long as the individual self thinks it is separate from Brahman, because all our life we live in the state of dualism. We always feel that I am separate from you, I am separate from God, God is some higher personality. So this is dualistic approach. So what they are saying is, as long as the individual self thinks it is separate from Brahman or the universal consciousness, it revolves upon the wheel in bondage to the laws of birth, death, and rebirth. But when through the grace of Brahman or also through the grace of Guru, it realizes its identity with him, it revolves upon the wheel no longer. It achieves immortality. So, what is karma? When you do any action, behind that action, there is certain intention. And because there is intention, it is going to give us certain consequences. That action is called as karma. According to Newton's law of motion, every action has an equal and opposite reaction. Similarly, there is law of karma, which is called as cause and effect. Now, also, again, I would like to share two statements, one from the Upanishad and again from Swami Vivekananda, about the law of karma, cause and effect. In Bruhadaranyaka Upanishad, sage Yajnavalkya said to King Janaka, now listen to this very carefully, Now, as a man is like this or like that. So we all are different, having different nature. According as he acts and according as he behaves, so will he be. A man of good acts will become good, a man of bad acts, bad. He becomes pure by pure deeds, bad by bad deeds. And here they say that a person consists of desires. And as is his desire, so is his will. And as is his will, so is his did. And whatever did he does, that he will reap. I will again go into Swami Vivekananda's statement, what he says in his poem, The Song of Sannyasin. He says, who sows must reap, and cause must bring the sure effect. Good, good, bad, bad, and none escape the law. Whoso wears the form must wear the chain. Now, what he meant by that, if we did good actions, we are going to get good results or good fruits of action. And probably we generally we say that, okay, then you might get punya because you're doing good action. Similarly, if you are doing bad actions, you will get bad fruits of action and you will result into committing papa. So papa and punya. None escape the law. Whoso wears the form, what is meant by form? This form of body and mind. So whoever is wearing the form of body and mind must wear the chain of karmas. Okay, so these are the two beautiful statements I thought of sharing with you, that this explains the law of karma, which is cause and effect. Now, what is this chain of karmas? Let's see what are the types of karmas. Now, this body and mind, this form, are nothing but the result of past karmas. These past karmic impressions have tendencies to reproduce themselves and determine the individual's circumstances and choices. The fact is, we are very attached to our actions and our works. We constantly identify with our actions and take pride in whatever we are doing. There is a strong sense of doership in action and enjoyership about results or the fruits of action. So here the problem lies. There is nothing wrong in doing any action. But what's your attitude, intention behind doing that action? When a particular action becomes karma, when there is a strong sense of doership, which is also called as kartrutva bhav, and there is a strong sense of enjoyership, or sometimes after doing particular karma we suffer as well. So enjoyership or suffering, it can be anything, but the bhoktrutva bhav. So kartrutva bhav and bhoktrutva bhav, as long as we have these two things behind doing action, we will never get free from karmas, but that will lead to the further bondage. All right. Now, as you can see here, the karma cycle. Because after doing any action, it is also called as samskara. After doing particular action, it gives certain impression on my mind. Now, if that impression, if that samskara is good, it is called as punya. If that impression is bad, if it is negative, it is called as papa. In a very simple way, I would like to explain you what is papa and punya. Always remember, after doing any action, or even before starting the action, while you're doing the action, and after completing the action, just be aware that what impressions those actions are creating on your mind. If they are good, you're getting into punya, but if they are negative, if they are not good, you're getting into papa. Now we are constantly trapped into this karma cycle. Sanchita karma, agami karma, prarabdha karma, kriyamana karma. And while doing these karmas, there is constant reaction and response given by us. And that's why we never get escape from this cycle of karma. We are bound to it. And that's why we have to take this form of body and mind again and again, and again, the cycle of birth and rebirth continues. Now we will see each type of karma. So the first is Sanchita karma, accumulated actions. As you can see in this picture, the arrows, the group of arrows stored into the quiver. Sanchita karma is the result of accumulated good and bad karmas from this and previous lives. At this level, good karma does not cancel the effect of bad karma, and these karmas are yet to be resolved. All right, so these are called as Sanchita karma. The next one is Agami karma, the future karma. As you can see, the arrow is about to discharge from the bow. Agami karma is the portion of Sanchita karma that are just taken for sprouting. It is like an arrow that is ready for discharging. If the conditions and the environment are suitable, Agami karma will convert into Prarabdha karma. The third one is Prarabdha karma. Karma is about to act. The arrow is discharged and is on the way, on the fly. Prarabdha karma are the part of Sanchita karma that are in the process of manifestation and to be experienced through this life. Prarabdha karma is like an arrow which has already left the bow on the fly and about to hit the target. And the last one, which is the Kriyamana karma, current active karma. Arrow hit the target. Kriyamana karma is the current active karma. Arrows just hit the target. Target is feeling the pain or pleasure. The degree of doership is the degree of experience. The reaction to these experiences creates new karma. Okay, so just try to remember these 4 types of karmas. And to make it even more simpler, I would like to give you an example. Now, for example, we all are in this meeting, in this call right now. I am talking, you're listening to me. After this, we will be chanting shlokas, doing the practice of chanting. So that is called as Kriyamana karma, which the action is going on right now, the current active karma. But then just think, how did you end up joining this meeting, joining this call? Because the post of divine chants you saw either on Facebook or on WhatsApp, you came across this post of divine chants. Why? Because that was your prarabdha. You came across this post, but then what made you decide to join the WhatsApp group? Okay, let me join this divine chant group. Why? Because already the desire was there within you that, I would like to learn about Bhagavad Gita or the scriptures. I would like to know more about Sanatana Dharma. chanting, or I would like to learn chanting, how the Bhagavad Gita shlokas can be chanted. Yes, it's interesting. Why you thought so? Because that was your sanchita karma. That desire was already within you. That was your sanchita. You came across the post of divine chants. That was your prarabdha. Then, by your own choice, no one has forced you to join this call, but by your free will, your own choice, you decided, let me join today's session to practice chanting. And that's why right now you are doing this Kriyamana Karma. And maybe after, this call is finished, in future you will try to practice these shlokas. You will put your audio recordings on the group, or you probably buy certain books about Hinduism or Bhagavad Gita or whatever you feel. You buy those books and you will start reading further because you have that desire. So the next action you will be taking related to this is Agami Karma. Okay, that is the future action. So there was certain intention and there is going to be certain consequence, good or bad, whatever it may be, but that action is called as karma. All right, so now let's see what is karma yoga. Now first we'll try to understand what is yoga. Yoga is derived from Sanskrit root word yuja, means to unite. So unite with whom? The individual consciousness with universal consciousness. So Karma Yoga simply translates to the path of union through action. So it is one of the path of action. By doing this, you can achieve that divinity. Always remember the quote of Swami Vivekananda, you are potentially divine. So if you want to walk on the path of action, do it full-heartedly, 100% efforts into it, and you will achieve divinity by doing Karma Yoga. Now, what is Karma Yoga? One should make an effort to understand karma from the right perspective. If action is performed unconsciously and in association with ego and desire, again, doership and enjoyership for the fruit of action, then karma becomes the cause of bondage and suffering. But the same karma, when it is freed from ego and desire, leads one to mukti or liberation. If the action becomes a process of liberation instead of entanglement, it is called as karma yoga. Always remember, while doing every action, you should be aware of few things, and we will be learning of what few things you should be aware of by understanding more of karma yoga. So two of them are the sense, and there is a very strong sense of doership every time we do any action, and also the enjoyership, that okay, I am joining this call, but then what's the benefit I am gaining out of this? That bhoktrutva bhav, that enjoyership is always there within us. A karma yogi performs desireless actions, which is called as nishkama karma, with detachment as sacrificial offerings to God, without an eye for their results. A karma yogi is duty bound, not desire bound. He renounces the fruit of his actions, that is karma phala sannyasam, not the action itself, karma sannyasam. A karma yogi doesn't give up on his action, but the fruits of action, which is called as karma phala sannyasa, but not karma sannyasam. Since he has no interest in the consequences, the results of his actions, they do not bind him. He also sacrifices his egoistic feelings in the performing his duties by acknowledging God. So he feels that every action, whatever I am doing, I am just the instrument. The God is making all actions through me. So he is acknowledging God every moment as his real self, doing the works through him as his instrument. So this is what a karma yogi's approach is there behind every single action. And there is whole lot of practice and process through which we need to go to become a karma yogi, or at least start walking on the path of action to achieve liberation. All right. So till now we tried to understand what is karma, what are the four types of karma, and when the action becomes, when your doing or your action becomes karma yoga. Now we will start with our 6 shlokas. Always we will start chanting our karma yoga or any shlokas by one of the dhyana shloka. So first we will chant dhyana shloka and followed by 6 shlokas. So before chanting this, I would like to go through all the 6 shlokas, giving their meaning and little bit of explanation about it. Okay. So the first shloka is जायसी चेत्कर्मणस्ते मता बुद्धिर्जनार्दन तत्किं कर्मणि घोरे मां नियोजयसि केशव. So here Arjun is saying, Arjuna Uvacha, Arjun said, O Janardana, O Keshava. He is referring to Lord Krishna by calling few names like Janardana, Keshava. Why do you want to engage me in this ghastly warfare? If you think that intelligence is better than fruitive work. So now we have just chose one of the shloka from Bhagavad Gita, but initially in the previous chapter, in second chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna has explained about Sankhya Yoga, the importance of knowledge. Through knowledge, you try to understand what is Brahman. And again, there is a misunderstanding for Arjuna that he felt that Krishna is saying that intelligence is better than action. But it is not so. Arjun misunderstood Shri Krishna's intention, thinking that if knowledge is superior to action, then why should he perform the ghastly duty of waging this war? Now Shri Krishna explains him. Shri Krishna revealed a superior principle, the science of Karma Yoga, and asked Arjun to detach himself from the fruits of his work. In this way, bondage creating karmas would be transformed into bondage breaking karmas. He termed the science of working without desire for rewards as buddhi yoga, or yoga of the intellect. Now, what he meant by that is, in order to follow the path of action, if you choose karma yoga as your path of liberation, you will need to take support of other types of yoga. And here he is mentioning about buddhi yoga, that is jnana yoga. By your intellect, by your buddhi, first understand that why you should not looking at the fruits of action, but only doing the action. If that concept is get fixed into your intellect, you will never deviate from this. Okay, so use Jnana Yoga, read scriptures, try to understand the concept of Brahman, who is God, and then start practicing Karma Yoga. By this, he meant that the mind should be detached from worldly temptations by controlling it with a resolute intellect. And the intellect should be made unwavering through the cultivation of spiritual knowledge. How you will get spiritual knowledge? By reading scriptures, by knowing what is Brahman. He did not suggest that action should be given up, but rather that attachment to the fruits of actions should be given up. Okay, so this is about the first shloka. The next one is Shri Bhagavan Uvacha न कर्मणाम् अनारम्भात् नैष्कर्म्यं पुरुषोऽश्नुते न च सन्न्यसनादेवं सिद्धिं समधिगच्छति. One cannot achieve freedom from karmic reactions by merely abstaining from work, nor can one attain perfection of knowledge by mere physical renunciation. So what he meant by this? The first line of this verse refers to the karma yogi. Who is karma yogi? Who is the who follows the discipline of work, and the second line refers to the Sankhya yogi, who is the follower of the discipline of knowledge. The mind continues to engage in fruitive thoughts, and since mental work is also a form of karma, even when you say something, when you think something, when you do something, all are forms of karma. It binds one in karmic reactions, such as, just as physical work does. A true karma yogi must learn to work without any attachment to the fruits of action, and this requires the cultivation of knowledge in the intellect. Hence, philosophic knowledge is also necessary for success in Karma Yoga. Always remember, you choose one path, but you will need Jnana Yoga, you will need Bhakti Yoga, you will need Raja Yoga in order to make your practice of Karma Yoga steadfast. True knowledge cannot awaken as long as the mind remains impure. Impure mind keeps running in the direction of anxiety, stress, fear, hatred, attachment, and the whole gamut of material emotions. Thus, realized knowledge will not appear in an impure heart by mere physical renunciation. It must be accompanied by similar actions that purifies the mind and intellect. Therefore, action is also necessary for success in Sankhya Yoga. Okay, so in order to follow Karma Yoga, you also need to understand what is Jnana Yoga, what is Sankhya Yoga. It is said that devotion without knowledge is sentimentality, and knowledge without devotion is intellectual speculation. Action and knowledge are necessary in both Karma Yoga and Sankhya Yoga. It is only their proportion that varies, creating difference between two paths. Only now I'm focusing more on my actions. That's why you can say, okay, I'm following Karma Yoga. If 80% my efforts and time is occupied in reading scriptures or in knowing the Brahman by my intellect, I am the follower of Sankhya Yoga or Jnana Yoga. You choose any path, but you need to get support of other yogas as well. So how your action can become perfect? By studying or knowing Sankhya Yoga or Jnana Yoga. All right. Okay. Now the third shloka is nahi kaschit kshanamapi jatu tishtatya karma kruta कार्यते यवशः कर्म सर्वः प्रकृतिजैर्गुणैः. There is no one who can remain without action even for a moment. Indeed, all beings are compelled to act by their qualities born of material nature, that is the three gunas, sattva, rajas and tamas. Shri Krishna considers all activities performed with the body, mind, and speech as actions. Hence, he tells Arjun that complete inactivity is impossible even for a moment. If we simply sit down, it is an activity. If we lie down, that is also an activity. If we fall asleep, the mind is still engaged in dreaming. Even in deep sleep, the heart and other bodily organs are functioning. So we cannot be without action for a single moment. Shri Krishna declares that for human beings, inactivity is an impossible state to reach. Since the body mind intellect mechanism is compelled by its own makeup of three gunas, sattva, rajas, and tamas, to perform work in the world. And here is the fourth shloka. कर्मेन्द्रियाणि संयम्य य आस्ते मनसा स्मरन् इन्द्रियार्थान् विमूढात्मा मिथ्याचारस्य उच्यते. The meaning of this shloka is, those who restrain the external organs of action, that is your karmendriyas, while continuing to dwell on sense objects in the mind, certainly delude themselves and are to be called hypocrites. Running away from the problems of life by prematurely taking sannyas is not the way forward in the journey of the evolution of the soul. It is better to face the struggles of the world as a karma yogi than to lead the life of a false ascetic. The next verse states the proper kind of renunciation. So if this is not the way, what is the right way of renunciation? Yatsvindriyani manasa niyamyarabhaterjuna कर्मेन्द्रियैः कर्मयोगम् asaktas savishishyate. But whosoever, controlling the senses by the mind, O Arjun, engages himself in karma yoga with the organs of action without attachment, he excels or he is far superior. So one of the quote is, मन हरि में तन जगत में कर्म योग यही जान, तन हरि में मन जगत में यह महान अज्ञान. When one works in the world with the body but keeps the mind attached to God, know it to be karma yoga. When one engages in spirituality with the body but keeps the mind attached to the world or the materialistic world, know it to be hypocrisy. Okay, so this is the way how you should be again doing the action, or this is also the kind of renunciation while you are at work. And the last one is Anubandham kshayam himsam anaveksha cha paurusham mohat arabhyate karma yattamasamuchyate. And now Lord Krishna is explaining which action is tamasic, which action is rajasic, and which action is sattvic. So today we are ending just by seeing what action is tamasic. And in the next session, we will be looking at which are the rajasic and sattvic actions. That action performed in illusion, in ignorance, in disregard of scriptural injunctions, so which is not according to the dharma, not according to the shastra, and without concern for future bondage or for violence or distress caused to others is said to be in the mode of ignorance or avidya or ajnana. The intellects of those in tamoguna or in ignorance are unconcerned with what is right and what is wrong and are only interested in themselves and their own benefit or self-interest. They pay no heed to money or resources at hand or even to the hardships incurred by others. Such work brings harm to them and to others. Tamasic action causes decay to one's health and vitality. It is a waste of effort, time, and resources. Typical examples of these are gambling, stealing, corruption, drinking, etc. So these actions which cause even decay to our own health and vitality and which is harmful to others, which is not in junction with the scriptures, is said to be a tamasic action. All right. So we have seen the 6 shlokas with their meanings. So now let's start with our group practice with this Dhyana shloka. Now you can unmute your call and we will try to practice it together. I will lead and you can repeat after me. Okay. So I hope are you all there and I hope it's not become very heavy for you because yes, the concept of karma, the topic of karma is very, very vast and it's very hard to, manage in this limited time. But yes, so are you ready to chant now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So let's start with one of the Dhyana shlokas we have learned earlier. पाराशर्यवचः सरोजममलम्
पाराशर्यवचः सरोजममलम्
गीतार्थगन्धोत्कटम्
गीता
नानाख्यानककेसरं हरिकथा
नानाख्यानकेसरं हरिकथा
सम्बोधनाबोधितम्
सम्बोधनाबोधितम्
लोके सज्जनषट्पदैरहरः
लोके सज्जनषट्पदैरहरः
पीयमानं मुदा
पीयमानमुदा
भूयाद् भारतपङ्कजं कलिमल
भूयात्
भारतपङ्कजं कलिमल
प्रध्वंसि नः श्रेयसे
प्रध्वंसि नः श्रेयसे
अथ श्रीमद्भगवद्गीतासु
अथ श्रीमद्भगवद्गीतासु
कर्मयोगश्लोकसङ्ग्रहः
कर्मयोगश्लोकसङ्ग्रहः
Now we'll start with our first shloka. Arjuna Uvacha
अर्जुन उवाच
Jayasi Chet Karmanasते
जायसि चेत् कर्मणस्ते
Mata Buddhirjanardana
मता
बुद्धिर्जनार्दन
Tat Kim Karmani Ghore Mam
तत्किं कर्मणि घोरे
नियोजयसि केशव
नियोजयसि
नियोजयसि
केशव
श्रीभगवानुवाच
श्रीभगवानुवाच
न कर्मणाम् अनारम्भात्
न
न
कर्मणामनारम्भात्
नैष्कर्म्यं पुरुषोऽश्नुते
नैष्कर्म्यं पुरुषोऽश्नुते
न च सन्न्यसनादेवम्
न च
सन्न्यसनादेवम्
सिद्धिं समधिगच्छति
सिद्धिं समधिगच्छति
न हि कश्चित् क्षणमपि
न हि
कश्चित् क्षणमपि
जातु तिष्ठत्य कर्मकृत
जातु तिष्ठत्य कर्मकृत्
कार्यते ह्यवशः कर्म
कार्यते
कार्यवशः कर्म
सर्वः प्रकृतिजैर्गुणैः
सर्वः प्रकृतिजैर्गुणैः
कर्मेन्द्रियाणि संयम्य
कर्मेन्द्रियाणि संयम्य
य आस्ते मनसा स्मरन्
आस्ते मनसा स्मरन्
इन्द्रियार्थान् विमूढात्मा
इन्द्रियार्थान्
मिथ्याचारः स उच्यते यस्विन्द्रियाणि मनसा नियम्यारभतेऽर्जुन कर्मेन्द्रियैः कर्मयोगम्
कर्मयोगम्
असक्तः स विशिष्यते अनुबन्धं क्षयं हिंसाम्
अनुबन्धं
अनवेक्ष च पौरुषम् मोहात् आरभ्यते कर्म यत्तं तामसमुच्यते Okay, all right. So, did you find it hard to chant these shlokas?
Yes, a bit.
Well, they don't seem to have a specific tune, so it was a little difficult.
Yeah. So now this is the first time like we are doing it, like we are chanting it. So once you get, into the practice of it, maybe after 2-3 sessions, the tune will also get fixed into your head. And yeah, there are certain difficult Sanskrit words, but again, try to read the meaning. Once you know the meaning of these shlokas, it's really easy for chanting. Okay. Now, if means any one of the shlokas, if you want me to repeat, you can go through the slides if you want. Any particular shloka you felt is hard to chant, or we can repeat that.
I think Etki, what will be good is if we all can do a group chanting again of all the 6 shloks, because that will give us the rhythm again and again. It will kind of help us.
Okay. So is that okay with everyone?
Yes.
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 Okay. So shall we start from Karma Yoga shloka 1?
Yeah.
Because now I think with Dhyana shloka you are
Familiar
used to
with.
it. Yeah, you're familiar with. So we'll start with this. Arjuna Uvacha
Arjuna Uvacha
Jayasi Chetkarmanaste
Jayasi karmanaste
Mata Buddhirjanardana
mata buddhirjanardana
Tat Kim Karmani Ghore Mam
tatim karmani ghore mam
Niyojayasi Keshava
niyojayasi keshava
Shri Bhagavanuvacha
Shri
Bhagavan
Bhagavanuvacha
न कर्मणाम् अनारम्भात्
कर्मणामनारम्भात्
नैष्कर्म्यम् पुरुषोऽश्नुते
नैष्कर्म्यं पुरुषोऽश्नुते
न च सन्न्यसनादेवम्
न च सन्न्यसनादेवा
Devam Siddhim. Yeah. So it's here we are just doing Devam with Siddhim just to make it similar. Nacha Sanyasana Devam
न च सन्न्यसनादेवं
Siddhim Samadhigacchati.
सिद्धिं
समधिगच्छति
न हि कश्चित् क्षणमपि
न हि कश्चित् क्षणमपि
जातु तिष्ठत्यकर्मकृत कार्यते यवशः कर्म सर्वः प्रकृतिजैर्गुणैः कर्मेन्द्रियाणि संयम्य य आस्ते मनसा स्मरन् इन्द्रियार्थान् विमूढात्मा मिथ्याचारः स उच्यते यस्विन्द्रियाणि मनसा नियम्यारभतेऽर्जुन कर्मेन्द्रियैः कर्मयोगम् असक्तः स विशिष्यते अनुबन्धं क्षयं हिंसाम् अनवेक्ष च पौरुषम् मोहात् आरभ्यते कर्म यत्तत्तामसमुच्यते Very good. So any of the shlokas you want to select and try chanting individually, you can go ahead. I will help you, don't worry. Even if you do any mistake, that's fine.
Can I start from the first one, please, Ketki?
Yes.
Arjuna uvacha jayasi chet karmanaste mata buddhir janardana tattim karmani ghore mam yojasi keshava. Oh, sorry, I think I
Yeah.
mistake, yeah.
Can you repeat the last two words?
Niyojasi keshava jayasi.
Ha.
Niyojayasi keshava.
Very good. You are going ahead with all the shlokas? Second
Yeah,
shloka?
I can do that.
Yeah.
Shri Bhagavanuvacha na karmanam anarambhat
Naishkarmyam. Are you there, Preeti? Hello? Naishkarmyam. The next word is Naishkarmyam Purushošnute.
Naishkarmyam purushošnute na cha sannyasana devam siddhim samadhigacchati.
Excellent. Third shlok.
Third one is nahi kaschit kshanamapi jatu tishtatya karma krut.
Now here, just a minute, I will stop you. Jatu is not raswa, so sorry, not dirgha. So jatu tishthatya karma krita. Can you repeat those words?
Yeah. Jatu tishtatya karma kruta karyate yavasha karma sarva prakriti jair gunahu.
Sarva prakriti jair gunaihi.
Sarva prakriti jair gunaihi.
Correct. fourth one.
Interrupting. Shloka 3. That last word of first line is ta is silent. No, that is tishthatya karma krut, not kruta.
Yeah, but we are just having that pause at the end of the sentence. So
Okay,
we are
okay.
saying Jatu tishthatya karma krita. It's just the pause. It's not the complete the, but just a pause.
Okay.
Yeah. Now Shloka 4.
Yeah, Shloka 4.
Mm-hmm.
कर्मेन्द्रियाणि संयम्य य आस्ते मनसा स्मरन् इन्द्रियार्थान् विमूढात्मा मिथ्याचारस उच्यते.
Very good.
And the fifth one.
Yeah.
यस्त्विन्द्रियाणि मनसा नियम्यारभतेऽर्जुन कर्मेन्द्रियै कर्मयोगम् अरक्तस विशिष्यते.
Asakta.
Sorry. I'll repeat that. I'll
Yeah.
repeat the last line.
Yeah.
कर्मेन्द्रियः कर्मयोगम्.
Again, wait. Karmendriyai karma yogam.
Okay. कर्मेन्द्रियैः कर्मयोगम् असक्तः स विशिष्यते.
Correct. And can you repeat the last word of first line?
नियम्यारभतेऽर्जुन.
So again, that is with a sound. So niyamyarabhaterjuna.
Okay, so ya is a bit longer.
Yes.
Yeah. नियम्यारभतेऽर्जुन.
Niyamyarabhaterjuna.
नियम्यारभतेऽर्जुन.
Very good. And sixth.
अनुबन्धं क्षयं हिंसाम् अनवेक्ष्य च पौरुषम् मोहाद् आरभ्यते कर्म यत्ततामसमुच्यते.
Right. So now in word him sam, okay, the anuswar is following by sa sound. So the sound of anuswar is not na, himsam, no, himsam. Anubandham kshayam himsam. Okay. And yattamasamuchyate.
Yeah.
So you can repeat the whole shloka.
Yeah, I'll repeat it.
Yeah.
अनुबन्धं क्षयं हिंसाम्
Correct.
अनवेक्ष्य च पौरुषम् मोहाद् आरभ्यते कर्म यत्ततामसमुच्यते.
Yat tat tamasa uchyate. So they are like joined together. Yat tat tamasa muchyate.
यत्ततामसमुच्यते.
Correct. Very good.
Thank you.
Yeah. So anyone else want to go through, oh sorry, all the shlokas or many or any one of these? Anyone want to try? We can have another 5 minutes.
I'd like to try.
Yeah. What's your name?
Aboli.
Aboli. Yeah.
First shloka.
Yeah.
Arjuna uvacha jayasi chet karmanaste mata
बुद्धिर्जनार्दन तत्किं कर्मणि घोरे मां नियोजयसि केशव.
Yes.
श्रीभगवान उवाच न कर्मणाम I don't know this one.
Yeah. न कर्मणाम् अनारम्भात्
न कर्मणाम् अनारम्भात् नैष्कर्म्यं पुरुषोऽश्नुते. Is it right?
Yes.
Okay, I'll repeat again.
Yeah.
न कर्मणाम् अनारम्भात् नैष्कर्म्यं पुरुषोऽश्नुते. न च संन्यस्य
न च सन्न्यसनादेवम्
न च संन्यसनादेवं सिद्धिं समधिगच्छति.
Very good. You're continuing.
Yeah, I'm continuing. Just न हि कश्चित् क्षणमपि जातु.
Now, here you're breaking after kshanamapi.
Okay. न हि कश्चित् क्षणमपि. How is it?
न हि कश्चित् क्षणमपि.
Okay. न हि कश्चित् क्षणमपि जातु तिष्ठत्य कर्मकृत्.
Okay.
कार्यते. Anything wrong?
Yeah. कार्यते ह्यवशः कर्म.
कार्यते ह्यवशः कर्म सर्वः प्रकृतिजैर्गुणैः.
सर्वः प्रकृतिजैर्गुणैः.
सर्वः प्रकृतिजैर्. No, how is it?
Yeah. So prakrutijairgunaihi.
Yeah.
It's a one word.
सर्वः प्रकृतिजैर्गुणैः.
Very good.
कर्मेन्द्रियाणि संयम्य. कर्मेन्द्रियाणि संयम्य य आस्ते मनसा स्मरन्
इन्द्रियार्थान् विमूढात्मा.
Is it there?
Indriyarthan vimudhatma.
Okay. Indriyarthan
vimudhatma.
Indriyarthan vimudhatma मिथ्याचार स उच्यते. Yes.
Yes, twin. So there is sa, ta, and va, three sounds.
Okay.
Huh?
Yes,
twindriyani manasa.
Yes, twindriyani. No. Yes, twindriyani manasa. Niyamyarabhate Arjuna.
So here we are not breaking the word. Niyamyarabhate Arjuna.
Niyamyarabhate Arjuna. कर्मेन्द्रियैः कर्मयोगा असक्तः स वै विशिष्यते.
So here it goes कर्मेन्द्रियैः कर्मयोगम् असक्तः स विशिष्यते.
कर्मेन्द्रियैः कर्मयोगम् असक्तः युक्तः स विशिष्यते.
Good.
अनुबन्धं क्षयं हिंसाम्
अनवेक्ष च पौरुषम्.
अनवेक्ष च पौरुषम् मोहादारभ्यते कर्म यत्तत्तामसमुच्यते.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Doing
Okay.
some more practice there.
Yeah. You can see the English transliteration as well at the bottom of the Sanskrit shlokas. So there the breakage is there of the words. So that will also help you to practice.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. So last, anyone? Anyone wants to go? Want to try? Okay. So now these are the 6 shlokas for you to practice. And if you can go through the slides again, just try to absorb, okay, the meaning of what is karma and what is karma yoga. And then you will really enjoy, chanting these shlokas even more. So here we will end our session. Thank you very much for joining today's call. And now we will see you on second Saturday of July. I think that is 11th. Yes. So we will see you on 11th of July. So for the whole month, you can go over the topic of karma, try to understand the concept of karma yoga, and go through these 6 shlokas and its meaning. And we will see you with next 6 shlokas of karma yoga in month of July. All right. Have you got?
Thank you so much,
Thank you.
Kirti.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Katie.
you.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Kirti.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Yeah.
Bye.